In the latest episode of Cherish today, despite Sunday making it seem that she was ready for a relationship with Ellis, more and more it's starting to seem like between her business, her dad, and also still some things she's a bit insecure or unsure about when it comes to Ellis, maybe the relationship is getting too serious too soon. So starting off, we're told that Mindu is deciding to step away from the restaurant because she wants to spend more time with her son and her partner. This creates problems for Sunday since if she's not there to keep the restaurant going, that means Sunday has to either travel back and forth more between Atlanta and New Orleans, or else she has to hope that when it comes to Lynette, she can get on the same page with Sunday, which thus far doesn't seem to be possible. For while Sunday is trying to perhaps get Envy's home sold so that she can kind of force her way into having him come to Atlanta since she has power of attorney, Lynette's not for this plan, and she seems like she's going to be a spoiler in all that Sunday's trying to do to kind of make it so that she can keep her dad in a safe environment while not having to give up her whole life in order to do that. As you can imagine for Ellis, it can be a bit difficult to balance all the lives of the people that he is in a relationship with. Whether you're talking about his romantic relationship with Sunday, who's going through things with her father, or else with her restaurant because Mindu's about to leave, or in terms of Anastasia and Everly, with Everly, really trying to get serious about this basketball thing, and even getting to see WNBA players warm up, while of course dealing with the fact that Anastasia could potentially move to New York and how that's going to affect their family. But he's doing his best, and thanks to knowing Davis apparently from the past, and Davis being Charlie's husband from Queen Sugar, Everly gets to network a little bit. But once again, Anastasia decides she wants to push boundaries. And despite Ellis having something planned for him and Sunday that night, when Sunday FaceTimes in because of what she's going through, Anastasia coerces them both to see her perform. Yet her performance gets a clip by Danny deciding to propose, and with Danny proposing and the conversation about having a residency in New York being there, so comes Ellis not giving the kind of response that Sunday thinks he should have gave when it came to his eventual ex. Did they ever get divorced? Either way, he being Ellis didn't give the type of reaction that Sunday expected him to have, which causes worries. Now, originally, as noted, Ellis and Sunday weren't supposed to go to Anastasia's club performance. What Ellis had planned was at their old school, sort of making up for Sunday missing homecoming. However, despite getting someone to play some music, somehow convincing the principal to allow him to serve alcohol and have a lit candle in the gym, Sunday just can't move past that Ellis' reaction to Anastasia's proposal didn't fit what she thought he should have reacted as. It even makes her wonder if maybe he still has feelings for Anastasia, to which he ultimately says no. In his mind, he tries to convey that he has to process everything that goes into trying to co-parent when it comes to Anastasia. So yes, he's happy for her, but at the same time, now he has to consider if Danny's talking about taking her over to New York, that means now he has to figure out the custody when it comes to both Everly and Bree. And considering, even though he has seemingly primary custody now, Everly probably be happily fine with just living with her dad, but Bree's a whole different situation that he has to try to process. On top of that, if Anastasia goes off to New York, that leaves her brother down near him, and while he's no longer her son-in-law, that doesn't mean that their relationship just evaporated overnight. So now he might become the primary caretaker of her, and that's potentially a lot to deal with, at least based off of the attitude that we saw in the previous episode when it came to Anastasia's mom. So, all this is conveyed, and of course Ellis, being the smooth talker he is, he also puts that on it, and this allows him to redirect Sunday's attention away from how the relationship could sour. But you can tell that with each notable thing that Ellis does or that is revealed to Sunday that kind of makes her want to pause things. Something about her intuition is saying that this may not be the man for you, or else this may not be the time for you two to be together, despite the coincidence of you coming back into each other's lives. So the highlight for us is just Ellis's efforts. Yes, at times it seems like he's very reactive instead of proactive when it comes to everything, but I think one of his main focuses is that he cheated on Sunday and he has to regain her trust. So anytime she brings something up, he tries to correct it as soon as possible. And yes, can you say he kind of takes it to an extreme level, at least for how the tone of this show is? Potentially. Because Sunday meeting Danny, Anastasia, Everly, and Bree all in one sitting can be considered a lot. But at the same time, I think Ellis is trying to be as transparent as possible because he knows that secrets, lying is what ruined the relationship in the first place. Which is why when it comes to this Anastasia thing, and Sunday thinking that maybe those two still have feelings for one another, it could be the driving force of what actually leads to this long ignored or else pushed back conversation between Ellis and Anastasia about boundaries. Because as we've seen with the whole Key situation, Ellis is not really trying to do anything that could make him perhaps be seen as a bad guy. And with that in mind, it seems that Sundays at that point was like, either you have the confrontations you need in order to keep our relationship, or I'm going to walk away because I got more than enough going on to not have to take on your shit as well. And with that in mind, I fully expect that Ellis, in order to keep Sunday, is going to have that conversation with Anastasia where you're not going to be inviting me to your shows. I don't need to know Danny that well. We are co-parents, nothing else. If your mama got issues, she need to call you. And while it's going to definitely be a bit curt, maybe potentially blunt, and probably hurtful, at the same time, I think this is what Ellis doesn't need just for his relationship with his relationship with Sunday the girl, but also for his own development as a person. Because it still isn't lost on me that we haven't learned why Ellis cheated on Sunday, but I feel like there are a lot of insecurities and maybe some issues with his childhood that haven't been touched upon yet that probably will explain not only why he cheated on Sunday, but why he lets Anastasia do what she does, beyond the fact that they were married for years. So for us, the on the fence topic is just Sunday ignoring her intuition, and the main reason we are kind of confused by this is because Sunday doesn't present that usual reasons for her to try to ignore all the red flags. She's not lacking in community, she's not lacking in friendships, family, or even other potential suitors. And while you can understand she's comfortable with Ellis because they dated when they were in high school, at the same time, the emotional and mental work involved in trying to get Ellis up to speed to her level in a way, you can tell that it's starting to become taxing, and at times it's, in the beginning it always seems like it's fun, but then as she really understands what he's into and what stage he's at, then she doesn't really have as much fun as she has to find herself analyzing, am I overreacting or is this just a life that's unfamiliar to me? And granted, just as much as Ellis has to grow, she does too, because she has to pick up the skills and tools of dating a man who has kids, never mind an ex-wife, but I don't know. All that's really clear to me at this point is that these two are exiting the honeymoon period, and with that, it seems that Sunday isn't getting the conversations that she needs, and Ellis is more focused on compensating for the past and really building the foundation they need for the future. And I don't know how much longer he can do these, I won't say grand gestures, but definitely notable gestures, while avoiding all the cracks and dents and things that need to be fixed, not only in the relationship as it is in present and handling Anastasia and all that, but also fixing some of the things that probably weren't really handled when they were together the first time, And I would even include the whole why he cheated in that whole saga. Overall, as we finally exit the honeymoon period, Sunday seems to be unable to lose previous reservations regarding getting back with Ellis. It isn't clear how much longer she can soldier on through her doubts as new fires come about for Ellis to put out, and it seems like he's less so being proactive and more so reactive.